am excited and nervous. We're gonna see how good it is, how bad it is. These are the things that I can massively overthink as a writer. It's always a nice feeling when I'm reading back through these drafts and I feel like I just want to keep reading. Do I dare say this out loud? It's not saying it out loud if I'm whispering it, right? Now it's just, I want to make her the best version of herself as possible so that you all love her as much as I love her. Hello and welcome to a new vlog. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time university writing instructor and a part-time content creator and indie author. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It is great to have you all here. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to 6:12 a.m. on Monday. I wouldn't normally start a vlog quite this early, but it is going to be a very, very, very busy week this week. Vlogging is just going to be a little bit challenging, but it kind of worked out because I need, and I left it in my bedroom. I need my iPad mini. I am going to finally reread the first draft of my next book. I need the iPad mini. The sun is not up yet. It is starting to get ever so light in the sky. So just a little bit of approaching daylight out there. The birds are still sleeping. They will probably start up in another 5 minutes or so. I've not really noticed this before. I don't know, my brain is just searching for every little thing that can excite me or make me happy. Or like there's part of my brain that's doing that. There's another part of my brain that's searching for the opposite. But the other day I noticed that like I just suddenly could hear the birds and then oh my gosh, they would not stop. And it got me thinking that like I don't feel like I've noticed that before. So now the last couple days I've been like even more aware of it, and sitting here now it's like, yeah, the birds are completely quiet, but as soon as there is just a little bit of like actual light in the sky, you hear one and then you hear two and then you hear all of them. I'll see if I can get it on camera at some point either today or later in this vlog. But yes, so in this vlog, I need to read Independent Hearts 4, the rough draft of it. I finished this earlier in February. I think it's been over 2 full weeks now that I have not looked at this, not touched this, not had anything to do with this. My alpha readers have been reading it. The last I spoke to some of them, no one has finished it yet, but some are getting close to finished. My mom has already sent me some notes as she's been going along, so I need to grab those from our text thread and put them into a note stock. So the first step in my editing process is to reread the first draft on my Kindle as quickly as I can, as if it was just another book that I was reading. So I'm not taking notes. I'm not really annotating anything. I'm just reading it for the general feeling I get. I'm excited and nervous. We're gonna see how good it is, how bad it is. We're gonna see where on that spectrum of good to bad it's going to fall. I will be happy if it falls somewhere in the middle. If it's not good, but it's not bad, it's just kind of average, I will be happy. So the Kindle read through, as I call it, is, or the ebook read through. I'm actually not reading it on Kindle. I just realized I have an iPad mini instead of a Kindle. So I have the Kindle app, the Barnes & Noble Book Nook app, the Apple Books app, all of those. And I think I put my generic EPUB into Apple Books. So we'll be reading it on just Apple Books. So I do the ebook read through as if I'm just a regular reader of the book and I'm just paying attention to the vibe of the story, the general plot and character development. Like, is there anywhere in terms of big key moments that just aren't quite working? Anything just feels like it's falling a little bit flat. Any big dots that aren't being connected. That's what I'm looking for at this stage. Next stage will be to do a Scrivener read through. We'll talk about that when we get there because that's going to be a whole separate vlog. I am ultimately excited to read it. I don't usually get to give myself quite this much time from when I finish the first draft to when I start the read through process. So I think it's going to be good that I've had 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading this morning. I'm going to try to do some reading this afternoon, but this is just going to be a kind of reading vlog, but reading my first draft to see how it is. So I've got probably about 30-ish minutes this morning, and then I'm going hiking. I'm already wearing my hiking clothes underneath, and then I've just thrown on a cozy dressing gown on top just to keep warm because it is cooling down. It's only supposed to be like 62 degrees today. Y'all, it was like 84 a week ago, so I am just giddy today. I'm going to be working from home with the windows open. So I'm looking forward to my hike because this is probably going to be the coldest hike I've been on in over a week. So we're getting like one last bit of nice, not summer weather before summer weather hits. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, if you're new here. So like my summer anxiety is starting to really ramp up, but not this week. Not this week. This week is going to be nice. So yeah, I'm ready to go for my hike, and then I'll come home, get ready for the day, get through my day, and then try to do some more reading of this later this afternoon if I can. I'm not sure how much of everything else I will show you. Maybe I'll show you a little bit of my day in between reading sessions, but this vlog is going to be mostly focused on the reading sessions. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get to reading and see if I can get through at least the first couple of chapters before my hike. Can you hear that? Now it's gonna stop. It has been the most incredible day. The weather today has just been heaven. It has been absolute heaven. It's incredible. It's cooled back down. It's cooling down for kind of the foreseeable future. It's going to warm up a tiny bit a couple days in the next 10 days, but we're back to like air conditioning is off kind of weather. And today, it feels like January. I'm loving it. But I finished work. It's now after 5 o'clock. It's almost 5. Yeah, it's 5:37. The sun is staying up until like almost 6:30 now. And so my brain still feels like it's really light out. Therefore, it must only be 4:30. My brain always feels like it's about an hour earlier than it is because I'm used to the sun setting an hour earlier than it's currently setting. So it does not feel like 5:37 to me right now, but it is 5:37. So I finished up work and then I sat back down on the couch with my iPad and continued reading the first draft of Independent Hearts 4. So I am now over 100 pages in, like 102 out of 322 is I think the page count for this edition in iBooks. And I'm starting chapter 6, so I'm 5 chapters in plus the prologue. So I'm about a quarter of the way through the book in terms of chapter number, and I'm about a third of the way through in terms of page number. And it's going well. It's actually going really well. I'm really enjoying the story. The first 5 chapters of the book are a lot stronger than I was expecting. They're not as weak as I was worried they were going to be. There's definitely things that need work. Don't get me wrong. It's not a perfect first draft because no draft ever is. There's tons of little errors and typos and mistakes. There's lots of like just word choices and sentence structure issues and just things that are just clunkier than I would want them to be. And then there's some things where I've got some continuity issues that I've gotten confused in, but not that many, not a ridiculous number of continuity type issues. But overall, the plot development, the character development, the pacing, all those things are feeling pretty good so far, which is great. Like, that's best case scenario. That's really what I always hope for. So mission accomplished with that, which feels really good. Yeah, I'm liking the story. I'm loving the characters. It's all feeling really good. I feel like I've done a decent job of situating the book and the characters within the world of the series, and there's enough of a recap of the previous 3 books to orient anyone who's new to the series and jumping in with this book. But for anyone who's read the previous 3 books or 1 or more of the previous books, it won't be so much that it's like boring or redundant or repetitive to them. So it's kind of, I think if you have only just read, like, this is the difficulty with writing interconnected series though, because if someone has read the previous books in the series, but they read them when they first came out, and so therefore by the time they're reading like book 4, it's been a year since they read book 3, and it's been 2 years since they read book 2, and 3 years since they've read book 1, then they might not remember that many details, and so you've got to remind those people what's going on. And if someone is brand new to the series, then you need to be introducing all the other characters and stuff and giving that little bit of background to help a new reader to the series orient themselves in the series. But then if someone has like binged the previous 3 right before they're reading book 4, I always want to make sure that it's not so much information that they're like, yeah, like I just read this. I know that when I'm reading a series, if I'm reading the next book in a series and I've just binged a series, like the previous books, I expect that there's going to be some things that like I don't need to be reminded of because I've just read them. But I do feel like it's one of those little things that some readers just decide to tear you to shreds over in the reviews, and it's like, but like I can't. It's really hard to appease the people who've never read the series, the people who've read it but haven't read it for a couple of years, and the people who've just binged everything in the series and need no recap at all. You can't please all those people. But if I didn't put any kind of recap in there, then the people who are brand new to the series are going to feel like, yeah, I just feel like I never really got properly oriented, and she's talking about all these characters and all these like plot points that I didn't know what was going on. So I don't know. These are the things that I can massively overthink as a writer and as an author. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. So that's something I'll talk about or ask my alpha readers about, because I don't think any of them have like just recently binged the previous books in the series. And as someone who is like really well versed in the series, I feel like the bits of background I'm giving are enough, but not so much that it would really annoy someone. So I think I'm okay in that respect. But yeah, it's going well. My stress about this book is starting to come down. I feel like it's not going to be as bad or as weak as I was perhaps a little worried it would be, especially with these early chapters, because the first 5 chapters, I don't have my laptop on me. Hold on. I'm trying to remember when I would have written those chapters, because I feel like it's probably been a while, because I was working on this one over a while. So I started it in December of 2023. I did a lot of writing in January of 24, but most of that was probably the outline. February was also mostly outline. So then it was October of 2024 was when I started really, although I feel like I had written the first couple chapters. I think the first few chapters I did write back in like February of 2024. So the first 2 chapters, it's been like a year since I would have been working on those. And then the rest of the like chapter 3, 4, and 5 that I've read today, I think is what I was writing in October and early November. It's been a while since I've read the first few chapters, and so I really wasn't sure what they were going to be like because I really just couldn't remember anything about the first couple chapters. Like, I know that I had read them back when I started working on them, so I think I would have reread those first couple chapters in October of last year, which is only like 5 months ago, the beginning of October. So it hasn't been that long, but with previous books, I speed drafted the whole first draft start to finish. And so like I think Brave With You, I wrote the first draft in like 8 weeks, 10 weeks. And so when I went back to do that first read through, it hadn't been that long since I wrote chapter 1. But my writing process lately, because I know it was the same thing with Forever Love London, when I did the first big read through of that, it had been a while since I'd read those early chapters. And so there's always just this nervousness when I'm reading back through something that I know I haven't read in a while. If I can't remember that much about it, then it's like, oh my gosh, is it going to be any good, or is it going to be an absolute mess? But so far, it's been pretty good. So I'm excited about where it's going. I honestly want to keep reading it. I wish I could just sit and read the whole book throughout the rest of the night, but that's not the best idea. But I do think at the rate I'm going, if I can do another 100 pages tomorrow and then another 100 pages or so on Wednesday, then I should be able to finish it on Wednesday. I'm hoping I can get it done by like Wednesday or Thursday of this week and move on to the next phase of editing. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to reading it tomorrow. I'll probably do another pre-dawn reading session before tomorrow morning's hike, and then hopefully another afternoon reading session. What I've done today was about 30 minutes of reading this morning, and then another like 40-ish minutes of reading in the afternoon. I think it was more than 40 minutes. So I'm wanting to kind of keep up that habit because it's worked out pretty well. So hopefully my schedule will allow me to do that over the next couple of days. Okay, it is 5:45 and I have made it up to page 239 out of 322, and I'm starting chapter 15, but I'm realizing some of the chapters have had some errors, so I get this error warning. It's not going to show because the screen is too bright. I'll put it up on screen. It gets this error warning. When I get to the end of the chapter, it's just like cut off in the middle of the chapter. It's happened twice, and I've now looked ahead to the next few chapters, through the remaining chapters, and it does it for chapter 15 and chapter 16, and then the rest are fine. So basically, with the previous 2 chapters it did this with, I just had to read it on my laptop in the Scrivener file. So, which is not what I really want to do at this stage. Reading it on Scrivener is the next stage. So I will get to that point, but I'm not there yet. But I'm a little concerned that that's how the alpha drafts are. No one has texted to say, hey, I'm up to chapter whatever and I've got an error warning, but it's fine. The 2 chapters that had done this before, it didn't cut off that much, so we'll see. But I'm still really enjoying it. I really am enjoying the story. And like, I wrote it, so I know what happens, but I can't stop reading. I did some more reading last night before I went to bed, and then I did some reading this morning before my hike. Then I've had work all day, and that's been very busy. But I finished work. I was sitting down to read by about 4:45, so I've been reading for about 45 minutes. It's now 5:30, or a little bit past 5:30. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the story. I'm really truly loving the story, and the first half is a lot stronger than I was kind of mentally prepared for, so that's been really good. I'm now to the part that I do remember, like the part that I was writing more recently, and so I do remember it pretty well and kind of know where I'm at and how I feel about the story, and like I remember my thought process a bit more as I was writing it. Like the first half, I really can't remember like what my thought process was at the time that I was writing it, but now I am. But now I'm also seeing how much I had forgotten about what I had written earlier in the manuscript, because there's more continuity errors and things like that. So so far it is like I was expecting. It's messy. It's very messy, but it's not bad. And I will take messy over bad any day of the week. Messy can be cleaned up. Bad takes a lot more work and effort to fix. So like structurally, it's feeling pretty solid, which is a great, like that's a great feeling. That's exactly what you want. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. And like I was saying yesterday or earlier in this vlog, it's always a nice feeling when I'm reading back through these drafts and I feel like I just want to keep reading, even though I know the story, even though I wrote it, so like I know exactly what happens. I still love having that feeling of I just want to read a few more pages or just one more chapter. When I get that for my own books, it just tells me I'm going in the right direction. Ultimately, I am writing the stories that I want to read. And the first drafts are always written for me. There's always a process that I start going through during the editing process where I start shifting it from the story being for me to writing the story that my readers deserve and that my readers expect, and that it's meeting reader expectations and genre expectations and all of that stuff. But in the beginning, all of these ideas for these stories it's me writing the story that I want to read. It's writing stories that I just feel like I'm not finding anywhere else in any other book. And not that my ideas are totally unique, but just I'm writing them in a way, and I'm writing characters that I don't quite see in other books, because ultimately these characters are all somehow based or loosely inspired by me, my personality, my own life, my own experiences. And so I'm the only one who has lived my life, so no one else is going to write my exact lived experiences. I think most authors are like this. We're all putting a little bit of ourselves into our stories. Like all of these books are my daydreams, my fantasies, lives I wish that I could live, decisions, you know, that I made decisions in my own life, and so my life went in this direction. But if I made a different decision when I was 18, 19 years old, maybe this story is how my life could have gone, kind of a thing. There is a whole lot of me in these stories, and so I am writing the books that I want to read, and I'm writing the lives that I kind of wish I could have lived, in a way, or if I could live multiple lives. And that's the thing, writing allows you to live multiple lives in one lifetime. It's such a fun exercise to come up with these daydreams and these what ifs and then put them down on paper. So I'm writing the stories that I want to read, and when I'm rereading an early draft like this and I get that feeling of I just want to keep reading, I just want 2 more pages or 1 more chapter or whatever, that tells me that I'm going in the right direction and that the whole manuscript is coming together in that way that, like, I just really want to keep reading the story, and that I'm almost able to step outside of myself, like being able to sit down and enjoy a story I've written as a reader and not stay in that headspace of being the writer, and therefore then thinking of it from an editing perspective. Like, that I can just sit down and read one of my books. And I have reread my existing published books after publishing them. I went through and read, I think I read all of them last year. And I can't remember why I decided to do that, but I just got it in my head. I just wanted to read the stories. I think I had reread all of them after Candle Shop. I didn't reread Candle Shop because that one had just come out, I think. And then I was wanting to reread I think it was because I was wanting to reread all the Across the Pond books while I was finishing up doing developmental edits and stuff on Forever Love London, just so that I could make sure I wasn't missing any continuity issues. I took a bunch of notes. I annotated the ebooks. I need to like export all of my notes from the Kindle app because I've got everything like highlighted and color coded and stuff like that. So I'm still like trying to put together like a series Bible for both series. I'm a very bad author in that I haven't really done that. But then you get to like writing book 4, book 5, and you're like, what color is someone's hair supposed to be? Like, Elise in Candle Shop has brown hair, but in book 1, in Bookshop of Possibilities, I say she has blonde hair. But somewhere between book 1 and book 3, I started seeing her as a brunette, and so she just dyed her hair. I threw a line in there saying that she had been blonde and she's gone back to brown, and it's all good. But yeah, it's like, it's hard to keep track of all of those details sometimes, which is why I try to keep some of the details on the like more minimum side, especially for side characters and stuff. And it's not until they get their own book that they get more details about them. So I'm really excited for you to get to know the character of this book. I will be revealing all of that very soon. Sometime this month, I think, we will just sit down and go over everything about this book and these characters and who you're going to get to know more. But for now, I'm reading it back and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm excited to finish it tomorrow. Even though I know exactly how it's going to end, I'm still enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to doing some more reading. I'm going to try not to do any more reading tonight. Tonight I need to just relax and unwind. It's only Tuesday, but it's already been a really long week, and I'm doing online Zoom conferences with my students, and yesterday and today were like the busiest with the most conferences. Tomorrow I've got conferences, but I've also got a meeting I have to log on to, and then Thursday and Friday I have the last conferences. But Thursday I also have a doctor's appointment, and at some point I'm gonna lose power for up to an hour. I don't know when, and I probably should have thought about this more when I was doing my conference schedule and like not put any conferences on Thursday. Fingers crossed it just ends up being a non-issue. But yeah, anyway, I want to go sit down and relax and watch a movie. I have finished reading Persuasion, and so now I am watching all of the, well, not all of them, because I think there have been several. There are 3 film adaptations that I love the most. The 1995 one with Amanda Root and Ciarán Hinds, the 2007 one with Sally Hawkins and Rupert Penry Jones, and the 2022 one with Dakota Johnson. And I can't remember the guy's name, the actor's name, sorry. And I love all 3 versions, and I know there were so many haters for the Netflix version. I loved it, and I'm not a Dakota Johnson fan. And I don't know the actor. I've never seen him in anything else. The guy who plays Captain Wentworth. Never seen him in anything else. I do like a lot of the supporting cast in that one. There's a brilliant cast, like, overall. The score, the film score to it, the music is divine. And I really love the score of the 2007 one. So, like, those 2 versions, the film score of each is like tied for favorite. Yeah, really love the 2022 one. The 2007 one is my favorite, so I'm saving that one for last. Last night I watched the 1995 version. Tonight I'm gonna jump ahead and watch the 2022 version, and then tomorrow night probably I will watch the 2007 version, because Rupert Penry Jones, in my opinion, is just the best Captain Wentworth. So I'm going to save that one for last. But I do want to get the Netflix version from a couple years ago started and get that watched tonight. And just enjoy a cozy movie night. Let my brain just turn off for a bit and relax before I get up and do all of this all over again. This conference week just feel very Groundhog Day. Like every day it's the same thing. Wake up, go for a hike, come back, log on to work, Zoom all day long, and then try to relax at night. So to try to break up that Groundhog Day feeling, I'm watching essentially the same movie every night, just 3 different versions of it. This probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna go watch my movie. Okay, it's 4:45 and I am very, very tired. I'm done with teaching work for the day, so I'm logging off and closing the laptop for that. Today has gone well. It's been a lot of time on Zoom. I've had conferences, but then I also had office hours this morning. Then I also had a department meeting, so I just feel like I have been on Zoom since about 10 a.m. and my brain is fried. I did do some reading this morning, so reading update. Made it up to chapter 18, so I've read 17 chapters so far in the last 2.5 days, because Wednesday morning kind of counts as half. I had really, really, really wanted to finish it today, and I could, but I feel like I shouldn't. I really feel like I need, if I just start reading, it's going to be nearly 6 by the time I finish it, and also my brain is just really, really tired. I think it'd be better to do some reading tomorrow morning before my hike, and then I might only have 1 chapter left to read at the end of the day. Also, my schedule's a little bit different tomorrow, so So I might have even less time now that I'm thinking about it. But if I only have one chapter left, I could do it. Technically, I just wanted to be done with it by Friday, although I would like to be moving on to a different vlog for Friday. So I would like to try to finish it tomorrow. I might read one more chapter tonight before bed. It's just really all that's left is 18, 19, 20, and the epilogue. That's it. I had to read 2 of the chapters this morning on my laptop, which I don't like doing, but for some reason there was an error with the EPUB file on my iPad. So I've never had that happen, but normally and I need to ask my alpha readers if they had that problem. Normally I put the alpha reader and the beta reader copies through Vellum. This time I just did the fast thing and I just exported it from Scrivener as an EPUB file, and that might have been where my problem was. For the beta draft, I will make sure that I do it in Vellum, because I've never had a problem with the EPUB files in Vellum. So yeah, I had to read 2 of those chapters on my laptop in Scrivener because the version on my iPad just cut off, like in some cases only halfway through the chapter. But I don't like reading on Scrivener on my laptop at this stage. That's the next stage. I will do that. That will be the next thing I do. I call that my Scrivener read through. So I do my like Kindle read through, or in this case I'm not reading on Kindle, so it's my ebook read through, my general reader vibe read through, and then I do my Scrivener read through. And so the Scrivener read through is going through the Scrivener file chapter by chapter and reading it on the screen in Scrivener and making notes, comments, and correcting any little errors that pop out at me. So yeah, this morning it was a little bit irritating to have to read it on Scrivener just because my brain is like, no, we're not at that stage yet. And I had to keep reminding myself, you're just reading it. You are just reading it. Do not do anything. There were a couple of things where it's just really obvious typos and I'm like, I have to fix it. But then there were a lot that I just left and was like, you will fix this later. So yeah, hopefully on Friday, definitely this weekend. I think my big goal for spring break is to get the Scrivener read through done. I do want to take time off during spring break. So I'm thinking if I can do like Monday through Friday, if there's 20 chapters plus a prologue and an epilogue, if I can be doing like 5-ish chapters, 4 to 5 chapters a day across 5 days, I would get the Scrivener read through done. The Scrivener read through still goes fairly quickly because again, it's not a full developmental edit pass. I'm just making notes of all the things I want to change. And then I need to, at the end of spring break and at the end of the Scrivener read through, organize all of those notes. And hopefully by then I'll also have final feedback from my alpha readers, and so I can just put all the editing notes together and start working through them. So it's a very daunting thing to think about that we're at that stage, but we are, and I'm excited. And then hopefully the end of spring break will be halfway through March, so that'll give me about 6-7 weeks if we count like finals week and final grading. It'll give me about 7 weeks before this semester is done. And I would really, really, really like to be done with developmental editing by the end of the semester, or at least near enough that I can then be done with developmental editing by the end of May at the absolute latest, because then I think it would give me June and July to do the copy editing, formatting, and proofreading and finish up the cover. And then we could maybe, do I dare say this out loud? We could maybe start planning and hoping for an August book launch. It's not saying it out loud if I'm whispering it, right? If I just whispered it, it's not out loud. That's what I'm going to tell myself. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I have made significant cover progress. Everything has been drawn in pencil now, and most everything has been traced in black ink. So there's just one last bit of things. Actually, I think it's just 3 things. No, 4 things. I'm looking at my rough sketch. There's four things left for me to trace in black ink, and then I can scan everything into Photoshop. So that will be another thing, is by the beginning of spring break, like by the end of this coming weekend at the latest, I want to have everything scanned and imported into Photoshop and have the full front cover illustration arranged in Photoshop so that I've got a fully finished black and white digital line illustration in Photoshop. Then throughout the rest of the semester, while I'm doing the developmental edits, I can be doing the coloring in and finishing up the full color cover illustration, so that hopefully by the time I start copy editing, the cover is almost done. And then I think my hopeful August launch will be more possible. So yeah. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to get any more reading done. Maybe one more chapter tonight before bed. But I am ready to just go mentally check out for the rest of the night. Last night, I greatly enjoyed the 2022 Netflix adaptation of Persuasion. This I think was like my 3rd or 4th watch of it. It's definitely not my top favorite. I still really like it. There's things I don't like about it as much, but then there's things that I really love about it. So overall, I do like it. But tonight, I'm gonna watch my favorite version. So I'm gonna go get myself cozy on the couch. I need to start thinking about dinner at some point, but I have no idea what. So probably start the movie while I think about dinner in my head. And then, yeah, just enjoy a cozy night. It has warmed up, but it has been cloudy. So it's been warmer today, but it's been really, really cloudy. So it hasn't felt that warm. I need to see what it warmed up to in here. I don't think it will have, fingers crossed, I don't think it's warmed up that much in here. I'm ready for it to start cooling down for the evening and getting nice and cool in here again. And then I think tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice, and I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm not going to say it out loud because even if I whisper it, I'm going to jinx it. But the next 2 days, it's looking better for Friday. If it happens, it will be in either the end of this vlog or in the next vlog. But I'm just really hoping. But yeah, I've been enjoying some very nice moody and atmospheric cloudiness outside. So perfect weather to watch a Jane Austen movie tonight. Okay, it is the end of Thursday. It has been such a long day and I am very tired. I am nearly done with conferences. I have one more day tomorrow, and then I just got off a meeting that went a little bit late, but it was really good, really productive. I'll probably talk more about that in another vlog, but it was for work. But it is after 5 o'clock. It is quarter after. So I am ready to go get some dinner. I had to pop out and run some errands. I went to Sprouts, so I did get something for dinner from Sprouts. So that's good. I had a doctor's appointment. It went well. It honestly went about as
good as I could expect. We won't get into it in this video because it's a whole other topic, I feel like. And she is running tests. Basically, it was my new women's health doctor. It went really well. I'm starting to get some answers. My brain's still processing. She's running some tests, so I'll probably wait until I get all of the tests back, and then we'll just do like a big health life update video, because I feel like there's gonna be a lot to catch you up on. But yeah, I'm still honestly reeling a little bit from that appointment, but it went well. It's all good, and yeah, I might finally be getting some answers, and it just, like, it's still overwhelming and daunting, but I'm glad. So yeah, I just feel like today has been one thing after another. It's been a lot of time on Zoom, and then it was frantically going to the doctor, and then they were running a little bit behind, and so that then put me behind, and then I wanted to run to the grocery store really quick because I don't think I'm going to have time to go tomorrow, and yeah, it's been a bit frantic. So thankfully, I finished reading the book this morning, so I'm done. I'm done reading it. I don't have any more reading I need to do tonight. I can start reading a fun book for spring break, so I might do some reading tonight, but in something that's not my own book. But this morning I finished reading, I think did I have chapter 20? I did do a little bit of reading last night. I think I read 18 and 19 and had chapter 20 in the epilogue today, but I finished the book this morning. It's definitely messy. It definitely needs editing, but I think structurally it's pretty good, and that's always best case scenario. I'm always hoping when I write that even if it's messy, even if it has a lot of work, that, oh, I cannot get comfortable in this chair. I really want a new office chair. But yeah, best case scenario when I read these books is always that even if it's messy, even if it needs a lot of work on plot development and character development, if structurally it's still good, and like I don't need to completely flip the order of things or bring this moment from chapter 10 forward and have it in chapter 3. I've had to do that before. And when you're really rearranging the big picture pieces in a manuscript, it's hard. So when the big moments are like good, and that's not where the problem is, when it's connecting the dots, the little moments in between the big plot points, when those are what need to be strengthened or condensed or, you know, cut completely because it's just slowing things down, that's the level of developmental editing that I'm happy to do. I get a little bit cranky when I realize, oh, you've set this plot point as your third big like plot point in the novel before the climax, but really it needs to come a lot sooner, and then you're having to rearrange everything. That's not fun. This is why I outline my books. Because if I realize, oh wait, this idea that I've had, that I've put like towards the end of the book would actually work better at the beginning, it's much easier to rearrange that in outline form than in first draft form. So yeah, structurally the book seems pretty good. I still need to hear from my alpha readers, but I think everything is roughly in the right place. I feel like the foundation is pretty solid. And the walls are even pretty solid. It's more than just the like decor, if you will, in this weird analogy. You know, some of the floors need to be refinished and some of the walls need replastering, kind of a thing. It's not just the fun stuff like choosing the paint colors or adding some throw cushions here or there. That's kind of like what line editing or like later stage developmental editing feels like. You're making everything look really nice. This stage, I'm still bare walls, bare floors, still need to like lay down the flooring, but like the structure of the house is good. So I hope that made sense. but I'm pretty happy with where it's at. I'm loving these characters. That was something else I was really worried about, because I feel like as I was writing them, because I kept taking some breaks, I feel like I was in and out of the main character's head a lot and just not quite sure if I was really getting her and really getting the main male character, and that I wasn't sure if I was really getting their relationship. And there's things I definitely want to strengthen and improve, but generally I love them. I love them as individuals, and I love them together. And I was talking with one of my alpha readers, and she was talking about how she loves the previous books in the Independent Heart series, and the Independent Heart series is probably her favorite series. And when she was reading Bookshop, she was like, I didn't know how I could love anyone more than I love Kate. And then I met Lydia, and then I read Lydia's book, and I didn't think I could love anyone more than I love Lydia. And then I read Elise's story, and I didn't think I could love anyone more than I love Elise. And then I've now read this book, and I love this character. So I feel like I'm having that feeling as well. It's always hard to move on from a character, and there's always a bit of like, am I gonna really get into this new character's head? And I'm still thinking of the previous characters in the series, and they're all in this. They're all friends, so they all hang out and talk to each other and help each other. But like, can I get into that new headspace of this new character? And I feel like I struggled with that in moments throughout writing the first draft, but reading it and reading her and being in her headspace from a reader perspective, I love her. I love her so much. I don't have favorite characters, I truly don't, but I always hope as I'm writing each book that I will fall in love with that character. And I have all the struggles and doubts I feel like I had. Now it's just, I want to make her the best version of herself as possible, so that you all love her as much as I love her, because and I'm realizing now like how much of myself I've put into her. Like, there are little things that I didn't realize I was doing it at the time, but now that I'm reading, I'm like, wow, yeah, I really relate to that. Duh. So yeah, I'm feeling really excited to do the Scrivener read through next, and then start doing the developmental edits. And I'm excited to start making all my notes and all my comments and all the things that were popping in my head as I was doing this quick read through. Now I'm ready to kind of go through it a little bit more slowly. Still pretty quick. The Scrivener read through is still pretty quick, but it's going through it a little bit more slowly and starting to like really make the notes of all the things I want to do to just make this book as strong as possible, and make these characters as strong as possible, and make sure that you fall in love with the main character as much as I have, because she's pretty special. She's special in her own right, in her own way. And if you have loved Kate, Lydia, Elise, I think you're going to like this next one. And I will tell you all who it is very soon in an upcoming video. Probably not the next one, and I don't know if the next one after that will be a writing vlog or something else, but I want to probably talk through it in the email newsletter. I feel like the newsletter deserves the scoop first. Subscribe to the newsletter. And I like using the newsletter as a way of like starting to work through things that I then talk about in the vlogs. Yeah, I don't know. Next week is spring break, and I don't know that I'm going to do like a long newsletter for spring break, but I might not be able to resist talking about this character. So it might be coming sooner than I think. But yeah, we will sit down and I will give you all the details very soon in the next 3 or 4 vlogs for sure, probably. For sure, probably. You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm saying. We'll sit down and talk about the main female character, the main male character, the shop, the business that this book is going to revolve around. I'll give you all of those details. In cover news, one last thing before I wrap up this vlog. All of the line ink drawings are done. So tomorrow, and this probably will be in the next vlog, I will be able to scan. I won't show you, but we will discuss I will be able, and you'll see my reaction. I'm going to be able to scan everything into Photoshop and import everything into Photoshop tomorrow. So by end of day tomorrow, hopefully I can do it all tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to resist. So by end of day tomorrow, as I'm filming this, I will have a full black and white line illustration in Photoshop ready to start coloring in, and I kind of can't believe it. I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I could get everything scanned and realize there's something I still need to draw, but I think I've done everything, and I just can't believe that I'm going to have a digital cover illustration, black and white, before I've even started properly editing the book. This is game changing. I like this feeling. This is how it needs to be from here on out. Getting to this stage of the cover by this stage of the editing process, because this feels really good. So yeah, anyway, that's your cover update. It's coming along, and very soon I will be able to see a pretty good approximation of what the cover is going to look like. But yeah, the quick read through is done. I feel really good about the book. I feel really good about where it's going. I'm really excited to start editing it. I think the developmental edit process is going to go pretty well, pretty smoothly, knock on wood. I can't wait to hear from my alpha readers, just to kind of reaffirm for me that it's not that bad. I was really prepared for it to be bad. I think in the title of this video I'll have like asked, how bad is it? Answer, not that bad. Needs a lot of work, but it's not that bad, and I will take it. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me throughout most of this week and throughout this process of doing the quick ebook read through of the first draft of my novel and reading it for the first time. And yeah, if you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'd really appreciate both of those things. It would mean so much. We are still very much in the middle of the process of bringing this book to life, so there's still lots of editing vlogs to come and talking all about that. So yeah, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I really appreciate it. Leave me some book and reading related emojis for doing the quick read through this week. That can be our emoji prompt for this vlog. In the comments, let me know a character that you have read recently that you have fallen completely in love with, because I'm totally in love with my current female main character. So if you're a writer, it can be a character that you've written that you've recently fallen in love with, or if you're a reader, it can be a character that you have recently read that you have fallen in love with. But let's just chat characters that we love in the comments down below, and I will see you all there. On your way down to the comments to answer that question, you can also click to open up the description box, and in there you will find the link to sign up to my newsletter, links to all my books, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, I will see you all in the comments, and I will see you all very soon in the next vlog. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye!